What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 returns that I just recently got back in the mail. So we're just going to jump right into these baseball returns, and the first one is back from Tampa, Florida, and it is from former Cincinnati Red catcher Terry McGriff on 1, 2, 3, and a 4th minor league card, which I thought that was pretty cool, showing him catching in action. Thought that was a pretty neat card to send him. So, all right, to point out the obvious, Terry McGriff is the cousin of, in my opinion, should be Hall of Famer Fred McGriff. So, obviously, they share the same last name. This is Fred McGriff's cousin. But what a lot of people don't realize is Terry McGriff is the uncle of former Miami Marlin, Florida Marlin All-Star Charles Johnson. So if many of you followed baseball in the 1990s all the way up to the 2000s, this is actually Charles Johnson's uncle. So that's a unique thing that a lot of people don't know. Obviously they put the McGriff thing together, but they don't put the Charles Johnson thing together. So let me tell you about Terry McGriff and his time in baseball. Terry McGriff, the Fort Pierce, Florida native, was selected in the 8th round by the Cincinnati Reds in the 1981 draft out of his high school in Fort Pierce, Florida. In 1981, at the age of just 17 years old, Terry McGriff was assigned to the Reds' rookie ball affiliate, where he appeared in 42 games for the Reds that year. In 1982, he would be promoted to Low A, where he appeared in 53 games. In 1983, he would be promoted to High A. He would repeat the year in 1984 in High A, appearing in 110 games that year for the Reds' High A affiliate, posting a .278 batting average. He would get a promotion to Double A the next year and catch in the exact amount of games, 110 games for the Reds, but this time he would hit 13 home runs and bat a solid .253 while commanding pitches behind the plate. That would garner him a promotion in 1986 to Triple A, where he would appear in 108 games and post a .291 batting average for the Reds' Triple A affiliate. Well, in 1987, he would again return to Triple A, starting the year with the Reds. However, midway through the season on July 11th, 1987, Terry McGriff would get the call to the major leagues. He would stick in the majors for 34 more games that year, posting a .225 batting average and hitting 2 home runs for the Reds that season. Well, in 1988, he would actually split time as a backup catcher in both AAA and the majors for the Reds. He would appear in 35 games for the Reds in part-time duty in 1988. 1989 would be a very similar situation. However, he would just appear in just 6 games for the Reds that season in the majors, where he would appear in 102 in their AAA affiliate in 89. Well, in 1990 was kind of a similar situation. This was the year the Reds won the World Series, and he would just appear in 2 games for the Reds in 1990. But he would spend the majority of the year in AAA for the Reds with 94 games. But during that 1990 season, on September 7th, right before the end of the season, he was traded to the Houston Astros as the player to be named later on a previous trade on August 30th. So unfortunately, Terry was not there for the World Series run with the Reds, and because he was traded just weeks prior before the playoffs began. He would spend the entire 1991 season in AAA for the Houston Astros, never getting called up to the majors in 1991. Well, after the 91 season, he would be granted free agency and he would sign with the California Angels. However, he wouldn't last long with the Angels, as they released him in spring training of 1992. He would then sign on with the Toronto Blue Jays in 1992 and finish out the 1992 season playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. He would then sign with the newly expanded Florida Marlins. He would get a chance to move back home to Florida. Unfortunately, the Marlins didn't have much of a spot for him and he only appeared in just 3 games for the new expansion team Florida Marlins that year, and spent the primary bulk of the season, 105 games in AAA for the Marlins. Well, after the 93 season concluded, he was let go of his contract and he signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. And this is unfortunate for Terry because the 1994 season, he got his shot as a backup catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. However, as many of you know, and I mentioned many times on my channel, the 1994 baseball season was cut short, and after the 94 season concluded, when the players went on strike, Terry was given his free agency after that 1994 season. Well, after 1994, he signed on with the Tigers and spent a year in their AAA system in 95. 1996, he would play with the Blue Jays, and that would actually be his last affiliated time in the United States. And he actually, in 1997, went and played in the Mexican League. McGriff retired from baseball. I'm not really sure what he's into today, but I would assume that he's probably affiliated somewhat with baseball after his playing career down in Florida, being it's a hotbed for, talent and minor leagues and spring training. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so this next one is postmarked from Albany, New York, and it is former California Angels pitcher Willie Fraser on 1, 2, 3, and a 4th 1990 Upper Deck, and I want to say all 3 of these are his updated or traded cards. So that's his Donruss the Rookies, his Topps Traded, and his Fleer Update, and that is obviously just a plain 1990 score. So let me tell you about Willie Fraser and his career in baseball. Fraser grew up a New York Yankees fan in Newburgh, New York, and graduated from Newburgh Free Academy in 1982. He played college baseball at NCAA Division II Concordia College in Bronxville, New York, where he developed a forkball which drew comparisons to future Hall of Famer Bruce Suter's forkball. The California Angels selected him with the 15th pick in the 1985 draft. And the reason this is significant is the 1985 draft also had a couple big names in that draft that were pitchers, Randy Johnson and John Smoltz. So this guy was actually selected ahead of those 2 guys. He was assigned to the Angels, Quad Cities Angels in the Midwest League to begin his professional career. After posting a somewhat solid year in single A for the Angels, he was then reassigned again that next year in 1986 to their single A affiliate, but this time he responded in 25 starts split between single A and triple A. He posted a 13-3 record with a 3.45 ERA in 25 starts. Well, the California Angels rewarded Fraser with a call-up on September 10th, 1986, where he made 1 start at 22 years old for the Angels that year. In that 1 start, it did not go well, and that was the only game that he appeared in the 1986 season. Well, the following year in 1987, a spot in the bullpen / long relief position was Fraser's, as he went 10-10 with the Angels in 1987 in 36 games with 23 starts. In 1988, he would again return as a starter almost full-time this time, starting 32 games for the Angels that year, but posting a 12-13 record. Well, the following year in 1989, the Angels decided to move him to the bullpen, and it actually was not a bad move, as he appeared in 44 games, posting a 3.24 ERA that year for the Angels. The following year in 1990 was very similar in the fact that he appeared in 45 games, this time posting a 5-4 record with a 3.08 ERA for the Angels that year. Well, after the 1990 season, he was traded from the California Angels along with Devon White to the Toronto Blue Jays. So this is how Devon White became a Toronto Blue Jay. He was part of that trade. He was part of that trade that brought Junior Felix and Luis Sojo to California. Well, he only spent a very brief time with the team that acquired him, the Toronto Blue Jays, because the St. Louis Cardinals claimed him off of waivers that year from the Toronto Blue Jays after he just appeared in 13 games. He would finish out the year in St. Louis in their bullpen, appearing in 35 games for the Cardinals in 1991. Well, despite the waiver claim, the Cardinals decided to let him go after the 91 season, and he re-signed with the California Angels. So this is his second stint with the Angels. Well, unfortunately, the Angels didn't have a spot for him in their bullpen that year in 1992, and he spent the entire season in AAA for the Angels. Well, after that season in 1992, the Angels would let him go, and he would go sign with the Detroit Tigers, where again, he would not get a chance at the majors, but would spend the entire year in AAA pitching for the Tigers' AAA affiliate. In 1994, he would then sign with the Florida Marlins in their second season in existence, and he would spend the majority of the bulk of the season with the Marlins AAA affiliate. However, he did appear in 9 games that year for the Marlins. Well, after the 94 season, he would then sign with the Montreal Expos, and he would actually split time between both of those teams. He would appear in 22 games in the majors for the Expos and 19 for their AAA affiliate in 1995. Well, after the 1995 season, he was granted free agency again, and he found himself at a crossroads in his career. So Fraser decided to take his talents overseas and play in the Japanese Professional Baseball League. So while he was in Japan, he signed with the Oryx Blue Wave, and from 1996 to 1998, he was part of the Blue Waves pitching staff, and he actually won the Japan Series Championship in 1996 with the Blue Wave. Well, that 1996 team had this young guy named Ichiro Suzuki patrolling the outfield, so this guy was teammates with Ichiro while he was in Japan. He played his last professional game on September 24th, 1998 in Japan for Onyx. After retirement, Fraser worked for an independent company scouting players in Japan and the United States. He then became an advanced scout for the Angels in 2014. He also worked in that capacity for the Dodgers, the Marlins, and most recently the Chicago Cubs. So very cool to add Mr. Fraser to my collection. I would assume he has a numerous amount of stories that he could share. This is again one of those guys that was lucky enough to have a career in baseball, both as a player, a first-round draft pick. Also, had the opportunity to go play overseas in Japan with the, if not the greatest Japanese player in the history of baseball, Ichiro Suzuki. I know, Sadarada that's why I said if not. But he had a chance to be teammates with Ichiro Suzuki in Japan. He also got into baseball as a scout as well, and did that for many, many years. And I don't know if he's still scouting, but as of 2021, it said he was. I don't know if after he left the Cubs, somebody else picked him up or not. So thank you, Mr. Fraser. Appreciate the autographs. All right, so this final one is postmarked from Texas, and it is former Toronto Blue Jay, Houston Astro, Xavier Hernandez on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me tell you about Xavier Hernandez and his time in baseball. Xavier Hernandez played his high school baseball at Thomas Jefferson High School in Port Arthur, Texas, where he led the Yellow Jackets to a 5A state title in 1983 with a 19-1 win-loss record, and was named Texas High School Player of the Year that year. He attended and pitched for the University of Southwestern Louisiana, now known as the University of Louisiana Lafayette, for the Ragin' Cajuns. He played in the Cape Cod League, and he was selected by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 4th round of the 1986 draft. After being drafted in 1986, he worked his way up through the minor league affiliates of the Blue Jays, and in 1988 posted a 15-10 record, starting 33 games for the Blue Jays minor league affiliates. In 1989, he would split time between AA and AAA for the Blue Jays, and he would get called up on June 4th, 1989 to make his debut for the Blue Jays. Well, he would appear in 7 games that year for the Blue Jays, and after the season concluded, he would be selected by the Houston Astros in the Rule 5 draft. Well, this proved to be an alright move for the Astros, as he appeared in 34 games in the bullpen for the Astros that year, posting a 2-1 record with a 4.62 ERA. Well, in 1991, he struggled a little bit. His record dipped down to 2-7 in 32 games for the Astros, and they actually sent him down to AAA to get his form back, where he appeared in 16 games and posted a 2-1 record. In 1992 and 93, he would be in the Astros bullpen, and he actually posted a 9-1 record in 1992 with a 2.11 ERA and 77 appearances for the Astros that season. By far, above and beyond the best season of his career at this point. 1993 would appear in 72 games and post a 2.61 ERA. Well, after the 93 season, the Astros traded him to the New York Yankees for infielder Andy Stankiewicz and pitcher Domingo Jean. He would just spend that 1 year with the Yankees and then was granted his free agency after the 1990 strike-shortened season. In 1995, he would sign with the Cincinnati Reds, and he would post a 7-2 record for the Reds, appearing in 59 games for him that year. He would actually struggle at the beginning of the 1996 season and would get released from the Reds on April 17th. Well, the following week, on April 24th, he would sign with the Houston Astros and finish out the year with the Astros, the team that he once had a lot of success with. Well, after the 96 season, he would be granted free agency again, and he would move across the state to the Texas Rangers, where he would appear in 44 games for the Rangers that year. The following year, in 1998, at 32 years old, he would come back to the Rangers, appearing in 46 games, but he also would split some time due to injuries in the minor leagues for the Rangers as well. So in total, at the end of his career, Xavier played for 5 different franchises, a couple stints with the Houston Astros, but in total that was over a 10-year major league career. He posted a 41-35 loss record and a 3.90 ERA over that time period. So after his playing career, Xavier actually got into coaching, primarily with the Tampa Bay Rays organization. He spent a lot of time, in the early 2000s through the mid 2010s, I guess you would say, coaching in different levels for the Tampa Bay Rays different affiliates. So very happy to have Mr. Hernandez's autograph in my collection. I'm very happy to also add some Willie Frasers to my collection as well on his rookie cards, and also to add a couple Terry McGriff cards to the collection as well. Like I said, very cool to have that card of him in action there. I hope you learned a little bit more about some of the players that I featured today. All these cards are pretty accessible to get, as they came out during the junk ball wax era. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch, and as always, happy collecting.